Squib, I went on to Bayer, so from an American company to big German pharma. So I was at Bayer Pharmaceuticals in New Jersey for 5 years, where I grew in a number of different leadership positions while I was there, really supporting the oncology pipeline and moving a lot of the early compounds forward. And then most recently, I am at Inhibrx, which is a biotech startup company that's based out of California. And here we work in a very exciting platform of single domain antibodies. So I work in the rare disease and oncology space, so kind of going back to my roots of continuing to work in areas of high unmet medical need. That's career-wise. So I would say in my outside of career capacity, I volunteer and work with the Novak Djokovic Foundation, and as Emma just mentioned, I'm one of the newest board members of the UMD. So it's been since September, so again, very excited to be a part of this initiative, and as I mentioned, be here with all of you because I get to learn from everyone here. But as you can see, it's very important for me to give back, and I'm very motivated about working in areas that really support my heritage of being both Macedonian and Serbian. So that's always been a very big area of my life, and that's why I've been wanting to get involved in these really great initiatives. I know my mom is here too, so I know she's always told me, like, you can't really know where you're going in the future unless you know where you're coming from. So I feel like that's why I've always really wanted to be involved in these really amazing initiatives. And that's what brings me to my topic today, being your own CEO. And as you saw, I'm not a CEO, an informal title, but it's a matter of both professional and personal life. How do you manage your life as if you were a CEO of your situation? So before I go into what I wanted to say would be my definition of being a CEO, maybe I'll open it up to the group and see what do you think about that? Like, what do you think about having a CEO mindset and being a CEO of your life? What does that mean for you?
It's freedom. It's freedom to be a CEO of your own self. You have that vision for yourself of where you're going and where you want to come to. So it's great.
No, that's great. It definitely is freedom, right? And the ability to really have ownership of your life. Right? Does anybody else want to add in on that as well? Like, maybe I'll call out on you because I know you're sitting right in front of me.
Thank you. Well, I'll say organization, discipline, time management. It's all of those things that make a good leader or a CEO, but those are some that I would mention.
Yeah. Anyone else want to add anything else? Like,
A bit of a controversial opinion. For sitting on boards as a woman and heading up quite a large department at AstraZeneca, I think it's very important to be your own CEO. I agree with you. Without it, it's very hard to make decisions. But I find it quite constricted, actually, because there isn't a way to make a decision that has been made before. All decisions weigh on me, all the monkeys are mine, and the pros and cons always end up being mine to evaluate. So without having to chart a territory to plan, like that's been gone for some time for me, I find being my own CEO, my own leader, quite stressful day to day, because there isn't often a path for me to mark myself up against. I have to make those decisions. And I have a mother who's a psychiatrist. She's had a career, but it's not like she can help me. It's not like she can say, oh yes, last time I was at a board and we have to make that. She can't. So I find it to be quite constrictive with a lot of trade-offs that I have to make and a lot of decisions that I have to make that I have no one to soundboard with often.
no, I think that's actually that's a really great point. And I do think oftentimes the topic of work-life balance, because I think you mentioned making a lot of trade-offs, right? Having to sacrifice certain things. And I know when people talk about work-life balance, and I apologize if this isn't anybody's future talk at the conference, for me, I don't believe in work-life balance. I think that's just a buzzword, because I feel like it's kind of a false reality of having things on a scale, right? And it's going to always be even on both sides, right? And I don't think that's the case. For me, it's more about work-life integration, right? At certain points in time, your personal life is going to take more priority, and other times it's going to be work, right? You're going to have a big deadline, a big project conference, or certain initiatives you need to move forward fairly quickly, and then maybe you're not going to be able to do as much on the personal side that you would want. I guess the question I have back to you is in terms of your support network, right? Is that something that you find that you have in your life, that people that you can kind of soundboard with and balance those ideas around with, or is that something that's a challenge?
I don't think you CEO or be successful, not just as a woman, but I don't think you can be a successful leader, man or woman, or gender neutral, if you are alone. You just are not gonna go very far if you're alone. So yes, I have a very strong network of support. My PhD advisor is a short list of Nobel winners. She's with me. My current mentor, AstraZeneca, is SET and SET-1. She's with me. I do have a very strong network of support, no doubt. But often, regardless of it, decisions I have to make are a flavor of what these other women have had to make, but are never equal. I'm a widow. I have an 8-year-old, right? My family is Macedonian. My mother is Macedonian. So I travel. My department is global. I'm in India often, I'm in China often, I'm in Europe often. Nobody has that reality. We're like, what do you do with your little 8-year-old? Who do you leave your little 8? There's no grandmother, there's nobody. What do you do? Right? There's no father, there's nothing. So, yes, I do. Without it, you wouldn't get there. But I find the decisions when you're at the top is quite lonely.